なんでもっと知ろうと思わなかったんだろう。
In episode 1, Frieren cried at Himmel's funeral because she didn't know him well enough. Decades later, she reads his memoir and smiles. She doesn't even realize she's doing it.
ヒンメルの自伝。
The man who asked Frieren's party to find it grew up hearing stories about how Himmel saved his town, back in his grandfather's time. It was a travel diary, ordinary days, the kind that don't make it into history books, the party sleeping, Frieren sprinting toward what was almost certainly a mimic, a difficult hill, a walk at sunset. He wasn't documenting history, but reading it now, what comes through is how carefully he was paying attention, the way she's indifferent to weather, the way she's always slightly behind the group but always there. He saw her clearly for 10 years. She spent the next several decades realizing she had barely looked. The memoir also collected quotes. Stark found one he liked and tried it out on the boat.
かかってこい魔物よ。この戦士シュタルクが相手になろう。
A warrior who never met him, trying out his material on the open sea.
いつか君に見せてあげたい。
そう、機会があればね。
The smile didn't arrive all at once. It started small. Frieren spent 6 months looking for the blue moon weed, a flower Himmel once said he liked. She cleaned his statues more than once. To a passerby, it looked like maintenance. But Himmel had built statues specifically so he and his companions wouldn't fade into fairy tales. Frieren became the person who made sure they didn't. There was another smile earlier, when Frieren found the ring Himmel had placed on her finger. A mirrored lotus, a symbol of eternal affection she hadn't understood at the time. And there was the sunrise. Frieren told Himmel there was nothing to enjoy about it. He said she would, because that's the kind of person she is. She didn't understand what he meant, not until she watched it with Fern and saw her smiling.
ただの日の出だよ。
でもフリーレン様、少し楽しそうです。
それはフェルンが笑っていたから。
That's the shape of it. 100 small moments, each one adding a little more of him back into focus. Frieren herself says the memoir is just a travel diary, trivial stories from the road. She didn't know she was making that face.
私そんな顔してた。
少しだけ。
The distance between those two expressions is what the whole series has been about. And the memoir is only part of it.
勇者様の像を磨いてくれんかね。
報酬は
Before the memoir, the episode explains something Fern and Stark had always wondered about. Why Frieren always demands payment, even when it's clearly nothing.
ヒンメルがそうだったからね。
報酬をもらっておけば貸し借りはなくなるだろう。
Himmel's logic was quiet and considered. If someone pays you, even with something worthless, they walk away without feeling like they owe you anything. The debt is cleared, they keep their dignity. Himmel worried about the people he helped even after he was done helping them. And that's just one of them. She maps every corner of a dungeon even when it's dangerous, because Himmel used to do the same.
ダンジョンは一つの階層を全て踏破してから次に進むものだ。
Not out of strategy, but because he wanted the adventure to be worth remembering. She sits by Fern's bedside when she's ill and holds her hand, because Himmel once held hers and told her that even adults need comfort.
心の支えが必要なのは子供だけじゃない。
Eisen once questioned the logic of helping strangers, while the Demon King still stood. Himmel agreed that it was inefficient. He helped anyway.
でも僕は目の前で困っている人を見捨てるつもりはないよ。
Later, Frieren does the same. The detour is no longer separate from the journey. when Stark asks why they don't take the sea route. The monsters on the northern plateau are too dangerous. Frieren remembers asking Himmel the same question. He said he came to be a hero in order to protect other people's hometowns. That's why they don't take the sea route.
シュタルク、北部高原が故郷の人だってたくさんいるんだよ。
She pushed Sign to join them when he was hesitating.
きっと私はきっかけを与えたかったんだろうね。勇者ヒンメルならそうしたってことだよ。
Because Himmel once pushed her out into the world the same way.
君が旅立つきっかけはこの僕だ。
またね。
She says goodbye in 3 words, because Himmel believed a long farewell was embarrassing when you'd only meet again. When Aura notes that Frieren once destroyed her subordinates without hesitation, the change is minimal but visible. This time, she dispels the spell instead. Aura asks why. Frieren answers plainly.
後でヒンメルに怒られたんだよ。
None of these are things she decided to do. They're things she became. She had carried him all this time without fully understanding the shape of what stayed with her. The memoir named it. It is just a travel diary. Small stories from the road. Ordinary moments that stayed with him. It's also the clearest record of who Himmel was when nobody was watching. What he noticed, what he found funny, what he thought was worth writing down on a bad day. Frieren smiled because she already knew all of it. The memoir didn't change anything. It just made visible what was already true. She knew him. She had known him for a long time.